17 seconds of complete silence. That was all it took for Lisa Bluder, the all-time winningest coach in Big Ten history, to command an entire room's attention.
The all-time winningest coach for the Iowa women's basketball team says she wants to lead her players for a few more years.
The question itself wasn't complicated. What defines Caitlin Clark's legacy at Iowa? Yet the response that followed had nothing to do with statistics, broken records, or packed arenas. Instead, it spoke of a level of brilliance that couldn't be contained, instincts that outpaced any structured system, and an intensity powerful enough to overwhelm everything around it. Over a 24-year coaching career, Bluder had encountered nearly every type of player imaginable, but nothing resembled the 4 years she spent with Clark. This isn't just a story about numbers or highlight reels. It's about resilience, raw talent, and the complex process of shaping greatness. And it all traces back to a single phone call that almost never happened. Think you really know your favorite players? Here's a quick challenge. How long did Lisa Bluder pause before answering that question? A, 5 seconds. B, 10 seconds. C, 17 seconds. D, 25 seconds. Drop your answer below and see if you nailed it. Now back to where everything shifted. At one point, Clark's future seemed locked in. She was headed to Notre Dame Fighting Irish women's basketball. The decision had been made. Her family supported it. Everything pointed in that direction.
Perspective, but it's life. At the end of the day, this basketball doesn't matter. That poor girl is obviously lost her mom already to cancer and then is fighting for her own life. For me, this is what she spent her wish on. How cool is that? To bring her family here and enjoy this opportunity. And also I think it shows the impact of women's basketball, not only from the standpoint of how good the game is, but also the relationship she's built with, obviously, me and Kate, but she loves the Aces and she loves the Fever, she loves the WNBA. She wanted to come here and see this game and such a big arena. So like I said, I think it puts life into perspective. For me, I think it's just something I'm very grateful for, to have those opportunities and interactions. And obviously that makes an impact on her, but it does in my life too. It puts my life into perspective, and sometimes basketball can feel like the end of the world to you, and really it's obviously not. It's just a game, it's just my job, and a cool opportunity to spend some time with her family.
Her admiration for Ruddy and her upbringing made Notre Dame feel like the perfect fit. She had already committed verbally to Muffet McGraw, one of the most respected figures in women's college basketball. The path seemed finalized, but something felt off. Night after night, Clark found herself restless, replaying the decision in her mind. Every attempt to feel excitement about South Bend was met with hesitation instead. While logic, family expectations, and faith all pointed one way, her instincts were pulling her somewhere else. Deep down, her original dream had been UConn Huskies women's basketball under Gino Orima. But with Paige Buecher's already committed, that opportunity never materialized. That rejection would later become one of the most pivotal what-ifs in basketball history, because the door that closed in Connecticut forced another to open in Iowa City. And behind that door stood Lisa Bluder. By the way, the correct answer, C, 17 seconds. Did you get it right? Clark first called McGraw. Nervous, uncertain, and fully aware of the magnitude of that conversation, she prepared for the worst. Instead, she was met with understanding. Great coaches can sense hesitation, and McGraw recognized it. She accepted Clark's change of heart with professionalism and grace. Then came the call that mattered most. Bluder was out at dinner with her husband, Dave, when her phone rang. She stepped outside, and on the other end was Caitlin Clark asking a question that would redefine everything.
Right here, she explodes, makes the backdoor pass.
Coach, is there still a place for me at Iowa? Bluder kept her tone composed, but her answer was immediate, absolutely. Moments later, she returned to the table, shared the news with Dave, and celebrated with champagne, unaware that this decision would bring the greatest challenge of her entire coaching career. Clark wasn't just another recruit. She was the fourth-ranked prospect in the nation, a dominant force who had carried her high school team by sheer will. But stepping into college basketball meant dismantling everything she thought she knew about the game. The challenges surfaced quickly, not because of lack of talent, far from it. Clark excelled in early practices. Her vision and shooting ability were extraordinary, but there was a pattern. She didn't trust her teammates. At Dowling Catholic, everything revolved around her. That approach worked there, but college demanded something entirely different. Iowa had established players like Czinano, Kate Martin, and others who needed involvement. Clark's instinct, however, remained the same: take control. Practice soon became a testing ground. During scrimmages, disagreements with calls escalated quickly. One particular incident pushed things too far, and Bluder made a defining decision. She removed Clark from practice, immediately, in front of everyone.
I think we used our crowd, but we knew we gave up a 10-0 run to start the quarter, but this team was never flustered, and I think that just speaks to our experience.
Years later, Clark laughed about that moment, admitting she had been clashing with the opposing squad. Her teammates confirmed what everyone already understood: her competitiveness was unmatched. Bluder recognized something critical. This wasn't defiance, it was intensity. And intensity doesn't need to be eliminated, it needs direction. Clark would be sent out, regain composure, and return. Over time, the emotional outbursts shortened, though the passion never faded, and Bluder didn't want it to. Even technical fouls became part of the process. When officials hesitated to penalize Clark during practice, Bluder would step in and call them herself. It was about discipline, not favoritism. Their relationship wasn't always smooth. Both were strong-willed, highly competitive, and unwilling to compromise easily. Clark's nature had been shaped early, competing with her brothers, playing against boys, turning every activity into a contest. Even school gym class wasn't immune. She was once removed for being too competitive. Yet despite all of this, one trait made everything possible: she was willing to learn. She challenged feedback, debated it, but ultimately absorbed it. And more often than not, she returned the next day improved. That balance between brilliance and stubbornness defined the journey. But another challenge loomed, one that had nothing to do with basketball strategy.
And is regarded by some as the greatest women's college player ever. She's a lock to go #1 in the upcoming WNBA draft in April.
When a player's fame begins to overshadow the team, it creates tension within the locker room. Not always visible, but always present. Bluder anticipated this. She addressed it directly. Clark's success wasn't individual, it elevated everyone. And gradually, the team embraced that idea. Players like Kate Martin and Gabby Marshall saw their own visibility grow. Iowa transformed from a regional program into a national powerhouse. At the same time, Clark had to evolve. Bluder introduced film sessions, not of games, but of Clark's own reactions. Her body language, frustration, and visible disappointment toward teammates. Seeing it objectively changed everything. She complemented this with leadership lessons, including insights from sacred hoops. The parallels between Clark and Michael Jordan were clear: extraordinary talent paired with relentless pressure. Open discussions and team bonding sessions helped break down barriers. Slowly, trust replaced isolation.
Okay, let me take you to some spots where you had some fun on this court. This is one of my favorites right here.
Then came a turning point. During the 2023 championship game against LSU Tigers women's basketball, a technical foul forced Clark to the bench at a critical moment. Iowa lost. The impact was deeper than the result. Clark internalized the failure, pushing herself into an unhealthy pursuit of perfection, studying film endlessly, sacrificing rest, searching for flawless execution. Bluder saw the danger. So she did something unconventional. She gave Clark permission to fail. At first, it was difficult to accept. Clark feared losing her edge, her identity. But Bluder reframed it. Greatness isn't sustained through perfection, it's built through balance. That realization changed everything. Clark began trusting her teammates, simplifying decisions, and embracing imperfection. Ironically, that freedom made her even more dominant. Against South Carolina Gamecocks women's basketball in 2024, Iowa thrived without rigid structure. Bluder relied on 3 words: read, feel, trust, and Clark delivered.
Just about a half hour ago, head coach Lisa Bluder announced she's retiring.
By the end of her college career, the numbers were historic: 951 points, surpassing Pete Maravich's record. Back-to-back national championship appearances. But her impact extended far beyond statistics. Attendance soared, viewership records shattered. Women's basketball experienced a cultural shift. In 2024, Bluder announced her retirement after an extraordinary career. Her longtime assistant, Jan Jensen, stepped in, ensuring continuity. Clark's tribute was simple yet powerful. No one built teams better.
Looking back on this whole past year and everything that's been able to happen, but just the journey we went on, I think reflecting back on my entire career,
When Jensen took over, Clark described it in one sentence: the only logical choice. Their bond didn't end with college. Both returned to Carver Hawkeye Arena together, symbols of a transformative era. In 2025, Clark's jersey was retired, a permanent reminder of a journey defined by growth, conflict, and achievement. Every moment, every challenge, every breakthrough now lives in that legacy. Clark moved on to the Indiana Fever, earning Rookie of the Year honors, becoming a WNBA All-Star, and leading the league in assists. The player who once struggled to trust teammates became one of the game's best facilitators. Even now, she continues to seek guidance from Bluder, proof that their connection extends far beyond basketball. Because this story was never just about wins or records. It was about understanding how to guide extraordinary talent without breaking it, how to balance discipline with freedom, and how to turn raw brilliance into something lasting. And as the game moves forward, one question remains. When the next generational talent arrives, who will be ready to guide them,